When a grieving queen begged the Buddha to take her away from all this pain, he didn't tell her to move on. He simply asked, "Tell me, what are you carrying?" Why is it that when you lose someone you love, time seems to just stop? A partner you spent years beside, a close friend who betrayed your trust, a family member who moved far away, or someone you'll never see again, not in this lifetime. In those moments, something strange happens. Words like "keep moving forward" just don't reach you anymore. You know somewhere deep down that clinging to it won't help, but your heart refuses to listen. It keeps drifting back to that person, in the middle of a meal, in the quiet just before sleep, without warning. If that's where you are right now, I'd like you to hear this story. Today I want to tell you about a queen who lived 2,500 years ago. She was thrown into the deepest despair a person can imagine. And the Buddha didn't tell her to be strong. He didn't say move on. What he gave her was something far quieter, a single, gentle question. And that question changed everything. The queen sat in her palace surrounded by silk and servants, yet more alone than she had ever been. When the Buddha arrived, he didn't offer platitudes or explanations. He simply asked her, "Tell me, which of your possessions do you cherish most?" She answered without hesitation, speaking of the person she had lost, realizing in that moment that what she truly held dear was not a thing at all, but a relationship, a presence, a love that had shaped her entire being. And in naming it so clearly, something shifted, not the pain, but her understanding of what the pain meant. The story begins with a queen. She was beloved by her people, graceful, wise, deeply kind. She was the wife of a good king, and together they had a son. Life, for a long time, felt whole. Then everything shattered. Their son fell under the influence of a dangerous companion. Slowly he was filled with suspicion and ambition, until one day he imprisoned his own father. And then he turned on his mother too, locking her away inside the palace walls. In a single stroke, she lost her husband to a cell, her son to a stranger's cruelty, and her freedom to cold stone walls. She collapsed to the floor, everything she had believed in, broken. The very people she had loved and protected had become the source of her pain. She no longer knew what to trust, or how to go on. And then, as if in answer to her silent prayer, the Buddha appeared. "Please," she said through tears, "I am tired of this world. It is nothing but grief and suffering. Take me somewhere clean, somewhere without all this pain." It was a cry to disappear, to escape the weight of what she could no longer carry. The Buddha received her words in silence. He did not correct her. He did not say, "You shouldn't feel that way." He simply asked, "What are you carrying? Tell me, one thing at a time." And she began to speak. Her love for her husband, the hope she had poured into her son, the ache of betrayal, the ordinary days that were suddenly gone. As the words came out, something unexpected happened. The darkness that had swallowed her whole began to let in a little light. She saw for the first time that her suffering was not separate from her love. They were two sides of the same cloth. And in naming each thread, she did not escape the world. Instead, she finally began to understand it. So, what was the Buddha really offering her? The first thing to notice is what he didn't do. He didn't dismiss her despair. He didn't tell her to be stronger, or to stop dwelling on it. That matters deeply, because when we're in pain, we so often hear, "Pull yourself together." Don't let it drag you down. The message, spoken or unspoken, is that grief is something to get over, quickly and quietly. But the Buddha knew something different. Suffering isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign that something mattered to you. In Buddhist teaching, there is a word, ku, often translated as suffering or dissatisfaction. At its root, it means this: when things don't go the way we want them to, pain arises. The queen was in agony because she couldn't accept the separation from her husband, because she didn't want to believe her son had changed. The deeper the love, the deeper the fear of losing it. That is simply what it means to be human. And so the Buddha said, look at your suffering, not away from it, toward it. Why? Because when we keep looking away, the pain doesn't shrink. It grows in the dark. But when we say clearly out loud, this is what hurts me, this is what I'm afraid of, the suffering takes shape. and once it has a shape, we can begin to face it. Acceptance doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean erasing your feelings or deciding you're fine when you're not. It means saying, this grief is real, and it's real because I loved someone truly. As the queen spoke her pain into words, something shifted. She began to see what had always been there, how much she had loved her husband, how she still loved her son, even now, and that the depth of her wound was simply the measure of how fully she had loved. In Buddhism, this turning toward pain, this willingness to receive it without running, is called acceptance. And it is not passive. It is one of the bravest things a person can do. This story is 2,500 years old, and yet it could have been written this morning. Think about the person who retires after decades at the same company. The work was their identity. Without it, they look in the mirror and wonder, who am I now? That hollow feeling after something ends, that's a kind of grief too. Or the mother whose children have grown and moved away. She gave so much of herself to raising them, and now the house is quiet, and she doesn't quite know how to name what she feels. Lonely seems too simple, so she says she's fine, and she carries it alone. Or the long friendship that slowly fades. No fight, no falling out, just distance, or lives that grow in different directions. That kind of ending, gradual, ambiguous, can hurt more than a clean break, because there's nothing clear to grieve. The Queen's story speaks to all of this, and here's what it teaches us. Gently. First, say it out loud. You don't have to perform your pain for anyone, but don't keep it entirely inside either. Write it down, say it to someone you trust. The moment suffering becomes words, it becomes just a little lighter. Second, a goodbye is not a failure. Every separation exists because there was a connection. Every loss is proof of something real that you had. You didn't do something wrong by loving, you did something beautifully human. Third, letting go is not the same as throwing away. The Queen never stopped loving her husband. She simply, slowly, turned her gaze from the grip of the past toward the question of today. What can I do, right now, with what I still have? Letting go doesn't mean erasing the past. It means loosening the hold the past has on your hands. And when your hands are a little freer, you can begin to hold what's here, what's now. Again, there's no rush. You don't have to be there yet. Today, just try this. Find one word for what you're feeling. Just one. That's enough. The word might come easily, or it might take you all day. Either way, you're doing the work that matters. And tomorrow, if you're ready, you might find another word, or you might sit with the same one, turning it over in your palm, like a stone worn smooth by a river. If there's one thing I hope stays with you from today, let it be this. The pain of losing someone is proof that you loved them. The Queen lost nearly everything, and yet sitting with the Buddha, finding words for her grief, letting her tears come, she slowly, quietly found her way to standing again. Not because she became strong, but because someone looked at her suffering and said, that is real. You are allowed to feel this. If you are missing someone tonight, if their absence still reaches into ordinary moments and catches you off guard, that ache is not something to be ashamed of. It's the shape of how much they mattered. Please don't talk yourself out of that. You can let go when you're ready. For now, it's okay to grieve. It's okay to feel the weight of it. The Buddha is always near, even here, even now, quietly sitting with whatever you're carrying. Thank you for spending this time with me today. There was a monk once who kept his teacher's empty robe folded on a shelf for 7 years. Every morning, he would look at it and weep. And one day, without ceremony or announcement, he folded it away, not because the grief had vanished, but because he was finally ready to carry it differently. The robe had done its work, he had done his work. There is no schedule for this. There is only your breath, your heart, and the permission to move at the speed of your own becoming.